Well, folks, with this entire 2020 past us, we've had our brand new, our first two shows of the year. We not only did a season premiere, but we also did a special for you. And now it seems like we're getting into the 2021 mood. And Paystee, as much as it seems as everything is going wrong, both in politics and in wrestling and in life and in my paycheck, I think democracy is still hard to kill, and we're going to come through this one way or the gall-darned other, man.
That's what we do. We persevere, just like Beef Sticks Podcast has persevered for 5 years. 4 seasons.
5 years, motherfuckers.
First season was 2 years because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing back then.
And we haven't fucking learned since.
No, we still don't know what we're doing. As a matter of fact, at the head of the show, I suppose it's only pertinent to let you know we're planning on making a migration. We're leaving Spotify behind.
Well, Paystee, 2021 is like almost a metamorphosis.
Spreaker,
it's like
Spotify.
Yeah.
We'll still be everywhere you actually listen to us. We just won't be hosting our services through Spreaker.
The past 4 years, or dare I say at least the past 2020, has almost been like a cocoon. We've been larvae, just waiting and growing. And now it's time for us to emerge as the beautiful moths we are. And yes, I said moths because if you've ever seen moths, they are much more beautiful than butterflies.
I'll chew a hole in your shit. I will. Beauty.
Folks, that was a good show. We were glad to have you. Thank you very much. Catch us with episode 3. These are our new short pod snack episodes.
There you go. 2021. It's a new diet.
2020.
Can we even talk about wrestling?
What? Wrestling? What the fuck
What
does
is
that
that?
have to do with anything? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Speaking of wrestling, did we talk about breakdancing coming into the Olympics here in the next, not the next Olympics, but the next like 4-year Olympic?
I do believe we did discuss that, or I have recently had the discussion with somebody.
Oh, it's
Maybe
good that
it was you and off the show. I don't know. That's
I don't
awesome,
know.
though.
But I'm happy about it. I would watch that.
It takes a lot more work than some of the things you do in the Olympics. Bobsledding, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, laying down. I watched that Disney movie. If John Candy can do it, it isn't fucking impressive.
Sanka, you down, man? I want to see Cool Runnings 2 now with the breakdancing and the...
Speaking of John Candy, just recently, like a 20-minute clip of a deleted scene from Uncle Buck that had never been released before just came out. You can find it on YouTube. One of the fucking, I don't know, nobodies backstage at Uncle Buck, he ended up having a copy of it on a VHS and he's uploaded it. And it's not entertaining or fun. So I can see why it was deleted. But it's kind of cool. It's just Uncle Buck like gambling, but he promised his sister he wouldn't play poker, so they're playing like Candyland and charades and this shit. And it's really a bad scene, and it's a good thing it was deleted. But I just thought that was kind of cool that this emerged out of nowhere, you know.
While you're at it, go watch Star Wars Christmas Special, I guess, if we're throwing out things that are terrible to watch.
Not the Lego one, though, the legit one.
Yeah.
That's horrible. That's awesome.
That's hard to kill, too. They can't get rid of that. It's all over.
Hey, first appearance of Boba Fett, though. I mean, does that not increase the awesomeness scale like a good chunk?
Right.
First appearance of Boba Fett, baby.
Without that Christmas special, we might not be on season 2 of The Mandalorian right now.
Plus, we got to see Chewbacca's dad masturbate.
Yeah, that's my favorite part, man.
Like, whether that's a good or bad scene, that was fucking... that was pretty breakthrough back then, wasn't it? You didn't see a lot of furry masturbation back in the 70s. That was kind of huge. That was a big gamble to take. It didn't take off like George Lucas thought it would.
It kills me that the only Wookiee face Star Wars ever got right was Chewbacca, and everybody else is just terrifying.
You don't like that little Wookiee with the fucking creepoid fucking face? The one who's dancing around on the goddamn ledge? I like how he's like he's doing cartwheels and jumping on the ledge of this deck, and like it's all cool. And then the second a stormtrooper like grabs it to pull himself up, it breaks and falls apart. What? But speaking of everything falling apart, Paystee, that's kind of the way that this whole last 4 years, this presidential, this governmental, this fascist regime we've had is starting to all fall apart in the best possible ways, Paystee.
Yes.
And folks in the news are starting to unearth some of these people that were maybe helping it along in the shadows, in the dark shadows.
Yes, and folks, this top of the show is probably not going to strike you as very surprising if you've ever been a follower of WWE or know anything about Vince McMahon or the McMahon family. But this is as Vince would say himself, some good shit, I do believe. So let's kick it off. Brian Schwartz of CNBC published a report detailing the dark money groups that were involved in organizing the rally last Wednesday by American terrorists that broke into the nation's Capitol building, leaving many injured and cost 5 people their lives, including 1 police officer and 1 protester who was trampled to death while carrying a "Don't Tread on Me" flag.
I just fucking love the irony.
The irony kills me. Well, them. At that rally, President Donald Trump encouraged his supporters to march on to the steps of Congress to protest the results of the Electoral College that certified Joe Biden as the winner of the 2020 presidential election.
And Paystee, the main group that organized that rally was a group known as Women for America First. And CNBC noted that the organization was certified by the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, as a nonprofit that can engage in limited political activities. But if you're into politics, you might know these groups as a term known as dark money organizations. And this is because they do not publicly disclose their donors.
Ooh. If I ever see any of their like signs anywhere, I'm changing the F to a P because it's WAP, and that's just funny.
Oh, you gotta love that wet-ass pussy, baby.
CNBC also reported that America First Policies, a pro-Trump policy advocacy dark money group chaired by Linda McMahon, did disclose in 2019 that they contributed $25,000 to Women for America First. It should be noted that America First Policies was not directly involved in planning the rally.
Although, Paystee, if I may interject, McMahon is a longtime Trump ally and former head of the Small Business Administration, as we have covered on this show before. McMahon's contributions to Trump-related PACs from 2016 to 2020 totals $23.4 million, which includes her largest single contribution in FEC records. Now, this is a one-time donation of $10 million to America First Action just this last October. Total contributions to all committees since 2016 comes to $27.9 million. Now, folks, we did a little bit of research on this, and we weren't going to bore you with all of the terms and the numbers, but WrestleNomics, if you want to go and look them up, has published a detailed view of McMahon's political contributions throughout the Trump campaign, and that's where we found a lot of this information. If you are more interested, go check that out. That's WrestleNomics, one word.
Yes, indeed. It's not surprising.
Oh, not at all. I mean, we've talked about Trump and McMahon throughout this. Actually, as at least as far back as Beef Sticks was one of the first people to congratulate Trump as being a WWE Hall of Famer who got the presidency, assuming he was a decent human being and everything was an act. We do renege our congratulations on him at this point. But at that time, you could only assume somebody that asshole-ish was playing a role such as a Stone Cold Steve Austin or a Macho Man Randy Savage or a Randall Keith Orton. We could not imagine that he would take that persona to the fucking White House.
Top heel in WWE history.
Top heel in United States history, ain't it?
Gotta be to be impeached twice, I think. Oh, that's funny, too. And the Republican senators are saying, like, day one of Biden's thing, they're going to propose impeaching him.
Right.
Good.
As Bill Clinton said, this motherfucker got impeached twice and he didn't even fucking get laid or got a blowjob the entire time he was in the office.
Burnt up that card beforehand with Stormy Daniels. Some good shit. I'm sure we're going to hear more about this as time goes on. And, of course, this is only detailing Linda McMahon's donations, right? And not Vince's own, unless... I would assume as a married couple they have to donate together, don't they?
I guess I would assume Vince donates everything through Linda since she is the politician of it, you know?
Right,
I would assume so. But that's just... that's just a small little bit of what's happened in our nation this week, Paystee.
Yes, indeed. And now let's take a look back at this week in pro wrestling history.
Well, Paystee, today is January 15th, 2021. But more than 3 decades ago, January 15th, 1970, Shane Brandon McMahon was born in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Shane is a 4th-generation member of the McMahon Wrestling Empire. He is the great-grandson of Roderick Jess McMahon, grandson of Vincent James McMahon, and son of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And he is also the elder brother of Stephanie McMahon and brother-in-law to Paul Levesque. The Lavesque.
Shane began working with the WWE at age 15 in the company warehouse, filling out merchandise orders. At age 19, Shane made his first television appearance as referee Shane Stevens at the 1989 Survivor Series. At WrestleMania 6, he was the first man to walk out and greet the audience. He continued to referee until 1991 and took on a backstage agent role soon after. His most notable appearance in this capacity came at WrestleMania 8, when he tried to restrain Miss Elizabeth and break up a post-match brawl between Randy Savage and Ric Flair.
Paystee, he soon moved to commentary, but after a brief run on commentary, which both he, Vince, and many others agree was not his strong point, Shane began wrestling in February of 1999 when he would defeat X-Pac for the WWF European Championship, which he held onto at WrestleMania 15 with help from Shane's childhood friends, the Mean Street Posse, and also former D-Generation X, later Triple H. He also has held the Hardcore Championship, the Tag Team Championship with The Miz, and he even won the WWE World Cup to crown the best in the world.
Yeah, still fuck you for that one, Shane.
I agree.
In October 2009, Shane tenderized his resignation from the company, effective at the end of the year. Shane's exit left only his father Vince and his sister Stephanie as the only active McMahons in the company, as his mother Linda had left to pursue a political career.
To destroy the Americas, as we mentioned earlier.
In August 2010, Shane O'Mac had signed a deal to become the new CEO of broadband service provider China Broadband, Inc. The company would change its name at the beginning of the year to You On Demand. He stepped down in 2013 but remains vice chairman of the board. He also sits on the board of directors for International Sports Management, a marketing firm that represents golfers including Ernie Els, Darren Clark, and Rory McIlroy. Shane is also part owner of the Indian Larry Motorcycle Shop in Brooklyn, New York.
That's racist. In February 2016, Shane McMahon actually returned to WWE in almost a shock, interrupting